Hello and welcome to this complete Java tutorial series from Mascot Tab. In this video, we will talk about Java data types. What are data types? Data types, in any programming, we have to deal with some data. We have to store some data. We have to manipulate some data and store it somewhere. So we have to know the different types of data types available in the Java language. So let's get started. So data types, we have what are called primitives and other advanced data types. We also have other advanced data types, and let's start with the primitive data types. From the primitive data types, we have integer primitives and we have real primitives. Let's talk about the integer primitives. So we have, as you can see on this screen, we have about 4 integer data types. These are all whole numbers, like integers. But what's the difference between them? It's a matter of how big they can be. All right. So the smallest integer primitive is called a byte. 1 byte data type takes 8 bits. Data is stored in computers as bit. So a bit is either a 0 or a 1. Okay. So 1 bit could be 0 or 1. So it requires 8 bits. 1 byte requires 8 bits. So how many numbers we can store? We can store, as you can see on this screen, we have the minimum value and the maximum value. So if our number lies between negative 128 and positive 127, we can define, or it's called in programming declare. When we define a variable, it's called declaration. So when we declare, we can say it is a byte. If the number is between negative 128 and positive 127, if it's 128, we cannot use byte, and then we have to use short or int or above that. So if the number lies between these two numbers, we can define our variable as a byte. A variable is our storage mechanism in program. So this data type is what kind of variable it is. That is defined by the data type of that variable. We have to tell Java what kind of data type it is when we declare a variable. Telling what kind of data type our variable is, it makes our memory management very efficient. So if we will talk about strings and others later, but if we store a number as a string, it will use a lot of memory and it's not very efficient. So we have to tell Java what kind of data type our variable is. Okay, yeah, so let's come back to our integer primitives. So the second type, the second integer primitive is called short. It requires 16 bits, and its minimum value is negative 32,768, and as you can see, the max is 32767. If you notice, here it's 68, here is 67, because we have 0 in between. Okay, so on the negative side, so this one is not 68 because we have 0 in between. So that is the reason for that one. So if you were wondering, this is like 2 raised to 16 for this amount. That's it. And the third integer primitive is called int. It's very common in programming. You'll see int, you will see you won't usually see like byte, short, you either see int or long. These are very common. So int it requires 32, or it uses 32 bits, and its minimum value is, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. It's about from negative 2 billion to positive 2 billion. And long, it's 64 bits. It stores this much. I don't know how to read this number, but just look at it. This is the minimum value. This is the maximum value. So if you have an integer and that integer is very, very small, less than 127, and greater than negative 128, between these, you say you declare it as a byte. And if it's a little bit bigger, but about 32,000, you can use short. And if it's bigger than that, it's about more than this, but less than 2 billion, you can use int. If you think your data type is integer, but it's very, very big, you use long. So these are the integer primitives in Java. Let's move on. So the second primitives are called real primitives. What are real primitives? These are numbers with decimal points. So numbers with decimal points that are like not whole numbers. So they are like fractional numbers, the result of a fractional number. So these are called real primitives, and we have two of them. The first one is called float, and the second one is called double. A double is actually, it's a double precision of this one. This one is a double of that. It stores double precision. Float is 32 bits. Its minimum value is, as you can see, 1.4. This is negative 14. So it's 1.4, approximately 1.4 times 10 to the power of negative 45, up to 3.4 times 10 to the power of 38. This is that. So we can store the decimal points in these two. Difference between these two is double. It can store a lot bigger. As you can see, the negative number is 4.9 times this e minus 324. It means like 4.9 times 10 raised to negative 324, and the positive one is 1.798 times 10 to the power of 308. This one stores like higher precision, and this one has a little bit of a less precision and a smaller number also. Okay, let's move on. And another primitive data type is called Boolean. This Boolean stores a true or false, like positive or negative, things like that. But in Java, it's stored as a true or false. So that's the Boolean data type. The next one is called char or char. Some people call it char, others call it char. And this stores single characters. We use these to store letters, and you could also store numbers. Could be also stored as a letter, but it's not advisable. We use them to store character strings. Like, say, for example, if I want to store this char, I will require like 4 variables. So like char1 or var1 equals c, var2 equals h, var3 equals a, var4 equals r. So char stores a single character. Like from char, it will only store one letter or one character, like c or h or a or r. That is a char. Okay, those are the primitive data types. And now let's move on to other advanced or higher data types. So the first one of those is called string. String, it's a special data type that holds an array of characters, right? Like in car, I told you that I can only store a single character in a string. If I want to store this, I can only store a single one in one car variable. But a string can store the whole of this, as in like char can be stored as a single string variable. Okay, so that is a string data type. The other ones called arrays. This string is a special kind of array of characters. So we can store multiple values in a single variable. It's a little bit difficult to explain an array in this theoretically, but you can you can store, for example, like numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in a single variable that is declared as an array, or we can store like each individual character. If I want to store this word arrays as an array of characters, I can store it like a in a single variable. I can store it like a r r a y s. Okay, I will show you all of these in a moment practically, so that you get an idea. And the last kind is called enumerations. This is a little bit of an advanced one. And if you have some discrete values, say, for example, like if you want to store like sex, we have like male or female, right? So instead of like saying like male or female everywhere, you can declare them as an enumeration somewhere, and then you can get the value of that sex or gender from that enum. So you can store it, you can declare it like a class, and then you can get the value of that. So this can be, you can use this, for example, like in directions like north, south, east, west. You can define these as enumerations. They're called enum, and you can use those as enums. Okay. Now let me show you how to create. I'm here in my Eclipse, so let's create a new project. So let's say new Java project. Let's give it a name. Let's call it data type. And then say finish. It's asking us to create a module. Don't need that module now. Okay, here as you can see on the left side, you see this data type. If you see the one below here, I have hello. This was from a previous video. If you saw my previous videos, and let's create a package so that you can revise what I did. If you followed my previous videos, I showed you how you can create a package. So what I did was I went to my project, and then you see this src, right click on it, go to new, and then say package. Let's have package. I want to create my package. Package usually create in reverse domain name. So I'll say com.mascottech, then finish. Okay, now let's create our class. Just right click on the package that I created, and then go to the class. In the class, last time I told you that a class starts with an uppercase letter. So let me call this, I don't know, let me call it data type. Data type. You can give it any name, but it needs to be meaningful. Start with uppercase letter, and then if you have multiple words, capitalize the first of each word. It is public, and go down here, click on this one, public static void main string arg. So we need to have this method for our program to run. So you can create it manually, but this Eclipse can create for you if you click on this one. Let's say finish. Okay, so this is our code. So you see the package com.mascottech.com, and the public class data type is a class that we created, public static void main string args, created this one. This is a comment. You can remove this one, and usually indent it so that it's readable, more readable. And now let's create what with the first data type. It was bytes, right? Let me create a bytes data type. Just provide the data type first, and then give the variable name. Let me call it B. But make it meaningful, equal to 1. And then semicolon, okay? If I wanna create a short, the second one is short, right? I'll say short. By the way, Java is very case sensitive. So if you put this uppercase B, it means different or it won't work for you. So everything needs to be in lowercase. Short, all in lowercase. All right, and S equal to short was maybe 300. And the next one is end. And we call I is equal to 1,000. The last one is long. L is equal to some big number. Yeah, for a long you have to append. If you noticed, yeah, it was complaining because it is thinking that I am providing an int, and this is bigger than int. So you just provide L. So it tells Java that this is a long data type. Okay, these are the different data types. So let's print these results. Do you remember how we print in Java? We say system, right? System dot out println, and then I say let me say B and then colon, we say plus. Now I can provide my variable in here, this B. And say semicolon. So what did I do in here? System.out.println B colon, this is a string, space, and I want my result to display B colon, space, and then the value for B. Okay, that's what I did here. So let me do the same for the second one. System.out.println, and then I would say similar like S colon space, and then plus S. At the end, semicolon. Okay, don't forget to put the semicolon. System.out.println, and then we say I colon space. This plus is a concatenation operator in this case. system. As I said, this is also case sensitive. If I say small system.out, it won't work for me. I see it changed it back to uppercase. Alright, and L colon space plus L semicolon. Okay, now let's save this and run it. See, let's run the button. Let me make my code a little bit bigger for you. Sorry, can't maximize the result here, but as you can see, it says B colon 1, S colon 300, I colon 1000, L colon this much. So this is what I did here. Okay, now let's add some more other. What are the other data types we taught? The next one was Boolean, right? Let's say Boolean BL equals true. Do you notice this this color? Told you this in a previous video that these are keywords or reserved words, so that's why this one is different, has a different color from this and this. Okay, Boolean, and what else? We have car, right? Car C equals. We provide in a single quote. You can say C. This is the car data type. What else? I think these are all about the primitive data types. Yeah. These are our primitive data types. Now let's create a string data type. The string st. You might have noticed that for Boolean I said BL, I did not say B because I have B in here, and I will run into a conflict. If I say Boolean B equals true, you will complain because this is a byte, and if I try to assign this to that one, it will complain. So S also, I have S here, so I'm calling it st here. For a string, we provide double quotes. Let's say mascot, say mascot tag, and then semicolon. For arrays, we don't have like specific data type that we tell, like string or char or boolean, but what they will do is they hold some specific, an array of some data type, some kind of data type together. They need to be some kind of the same kind, okay? So if I want to store, for example, an array of ints, so I can say, I can define my variable in here like this, int bracket, give it a name. I can declare it in here, and then I can assign it later, like a equals, in this case I have to say new, and in brackets I can say, give it its length, how big it is going to be. New int of 2. I forgot to specify its data type. You can do it like this, or you can also say like int of b equals, you can provide values like here, like 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also do it like this. I have B in here above. So A2, let me call it A2. He was complaining because I have B above. So you can do you can create arrays like this, or if for characters also. I mean, you can have like other data types, like other data types. I forgot to cover the real primitives, so I will come back to those. So I can have like a short or a short of, and b2 equals 3, 4, 5. I can do this. Like I can specify any data type, but the values in here must be of the same. Or I can do it like this and give the values later. Now we'll come into these in detail later. I just want you to have an idea of what these types are for now. And what I forgot in here about real data types is float and double. So we'll say float f equal to 1.0, or double d equals 2.101. Yeah, this is complaining for in the case of a float and L, you had to specify. For a float, you have to say f at the end of your value. When you provide a literal value, you have to provide that. So if you do this, let's copy this. System.out.println f, say f. D, say D. We're missing B1. 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 Sorry, it's not B1, it's BL. BL. And I have C. Let's change this to C. Okay, then ST. And then ST, and ST, I don't have any value for A, but I can just put it and show you what I'll get. Say A2. I'll say A2 here. Say B2. B2. Okay, now let's save it. Yeah, you can come here and say save, or you can use the shortcut Control S and run. Now let's run it. Okay, let me expand on this a little bit. These are from before. Now we have F1.1.01, we have D2.101, B1, BL as true, C, ST mascot tag, A, I add this, A to this, B to this. You might be wondering what is this one? This is the memory address of that array. And if you want to get the specific values of an array, you need to know about some loops, and we'll talk about those later. But for now, this is enough for us to have an understanding of what data types are in Java. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video was helpful. If it is not, let me know. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments section, okay? And I will give you an answer as soon as possible. And also, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up to encourage me doing videos similar to this. Great, and also if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any videos from this continuous Java tutorial series that I'm doing every week. I will be doing videos, 1 or 2 every week, and the minimum I will do 1 video every Saturday, and if possible 1 video more in other days before Saturday. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.